Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Fitness Business Authority podcast with me, Liam Thompson. We are on to episode 5 today. We have Shari Friedman on board. We're going to be chatting about what she does, which is she's a marketing expert, assistant even, expert also to the fitness industry. Shari, do you want to say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Hey everyone, yeah, I'm Shari Friedman. Some of you may know me as Shari Fitness out there. Dual personality here. What many of you may not know is for the past 5 years, I have been working behind the scenes with some of the top people in the fitness industry. I've seen just about everything that goes on with regard to marketing, and there's also areas where I've been of help and of service to my fellow fitness professionals out there. So just real quick, how did this happen? How did I get into this? And this was just all one massive accident. Like so many, I was doing email marketing, doing affiliate marketing when that was like really, really big. Everybody had their ClickBank product and they wanted their affiliates to promote their products to their list. And so one of the affiliates that I promoted to my list, who is Dave Rule. Some of you may know him. Dave was known for 2 products, Annabella Cooking, aka the Muscle Cook, and his wife was the Lean Kitchen Queen, which is Metabolic Cooking. Dave had started an online digital publishing company, sent out an email to his affiliate list and said, "Hey, we're hiring. This is what we're looking for." And I looked at what he wanted, and I was like, "Oh my God, if I could create my ultimate dream job, this would be it." I was like, I'm already kind of doing this stuff for my own business, but it would be great to really see firsthand how the big boys roll, how this really works, rather than me just, I had been trying to figure it out for myself. So that's how I got into it. I started out doing content marketing for them, and then I sort of, and with them, they were just, because they were a new company, and they had all these clients, they were just kind of throwing things at me until they said, "We need help with emails." So they threw the email copywriting to me, and lo and behold, who knows, that would be my wheelhouse. So I became one of the main email copywriters for them. And so I was writing for Coach Scott Abel. I was writing for Elliott Hulse. I was also writing for a project that they had called Non-Jobs. And they also had Bioptimizers, which is an online supplement company as well. So I was very, very involved in that. I've also transitioned into working with people like DelMonte. I wrote some of his email copy. Right now, I also handle Vince's organic Facebook page. So all I do is have nothing to do with Facebook ads or Facebook marketing, none of that. All I do is just put the content out there organically on his Facebook page. Another person I'm currently working with is Yuri Elkaim. Yuri has another division of his business. I know some of you know him on the fitness side, but he has what he calls the Healthpreneur. And Healthpreneur is literally what it sounds like. He's helping health and fitness professionals, coaches, doctors, teaching them how to build an online business. And where I'm helping Yuri is making sure that all his content gets uploaded and scheduled, and that everything runs smoothly as far as with his content marketing. So that's what I've been doing. Other things is, I've just run the gamut of so many different things. I've ghost written stuff for people. I've ghost written articles and 5 chapters of an ebook for Critical Bench.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've written for them, and for Vince, I did a little ghost writing for an Instagram training. So I did a manual on just basics of Instagram, how to use Instagram. So that was another thing that I did some ghost writing for. So yeah, I mean, call me so as Liam said, I do email copywriting, which is one of the things I do, but people look at me as their marketing assistant.
Okay, so you've never done any email marketing until you got your first gig? and you went into it blind without having had any training?
No,
How,
zero.
how did you learn?
Well, I was very blessed. One of the people that was Dave Rule's partner is Matt Gallant. And Matt is one of those people, either you know him or you don't. He is one of the most prolific copywriters out there in the industry. And Matt had been doing most of the copywriting, but it's just as the business grew and he needed to tend to other things, he couldn't do all this stuff. And so he kind of said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this. So I spent some time on Skype with him, and basically he gave me he said, watch this video. We use Scott Abel. So I watched his video. He's like, now start writing. And this was like the most nerve-wracking thing, I got to tell you, was I've never done this, and I'm sitting there writing an email, in a Google Doc, and he's seeing what I'm doing. So basically this guy is like literally over my shoulder as I'm writing this, and getting everything critiqued. And so, but the crazy thing is that, like Elliott, Scott had a very distinct personality. Scott is somewhat snarky and sarcastic. So listening to his videos, I was able to pick up on that sarcasm and that snarkiness that he had, and I was able to put that into his emails, so it sounded so authentic. And then the other thing with Elliott, if any of you have watched Elliott also has a very, very distinct personality as well. And so I was able to pick up on certain phrases and things that he says all the time and like incorporate that into the email. So when you have somebody who's just charismatic, that has is full of personality and has, you could just take that and it made it easy for me to get started into doing this. So that's kind of how that kind of came about. So yeah, I just kind of got thrown into it like everything else. It's like, let's throw this and see if it sticks.
What was that?
Let's throw this at you and see if this sticks.
We had a bit of a chat before we recorded this today, and we talked about. I said I'm a fan of email marketing, and we've been doing it for the last 5 years. But maybe for some of the guys who are listening to this, their experience of email marketing is sending an email to their customer list or their ex-customer list, maybe once a month, once every couple of months, when they've got something to sell. Now, you and I both know that is a terrible tactic to use. So what is it that you could explain to people who are listening that you do differently? What's your philosophy around emailing?
Okay, so here's the difference between email copywriting and writing sales copy, okay? So if you're doing sales copy for a website, that's like a one-shot deal. Somebody's coming to your website and they're getting your words, your sales pitch for the first time. However, on an email, it's different. I'm talking to you every day. I'm your friend. We're having this relationship. We're building this rapport. I'm letting you get to know me. That's the difference. And what you don't want to do is you want to sell them, but you don't want to only show up in their inbox when you want to sell them something. There are times where I don't know what to say. I mean, it's happened. It's like I have no idea what to say. I have nothing to sell. What I started doing recently is, I'm not in the gym, but I go take a walk in the park 3 days a week. So what I've been doing is just taking, doing a video as I'm taking a walk. So I take people on a walk with me in the park, and I talk about whatever, okay? And then what I've done is, so I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving you my insights on things and ideas, and it's just content that I'm giving you. And I'll put that up on my Facebook page, and then what I'll do is I'll email my list and say, hey, I've got this video for you. This is what I'm whatever it is. Come take a walk with me or whatever. And the link that I give them goes right to my Facebook page. So this is a sneaky way of getting traffic to your Facebook page, so you can build. Yeah, you like that.
I really like that, because I've been doing something similar with my list recently. And other things that I'll do is so we have a Facebook group that's full of personal trainers and fitness professionals. Check it out. It's called the Certified Personal Trainers Network. You can go and find it on Facebook. Ask to join. It's free. And we'll give you loads of tips and advice in there. But what we do sometimes is we'll tease between our email and we'll tease between our group. So we'll put a picture in our group and say, if you're on my email list, you know what this means. And then it's like, oh, how do we get on your list? We're not on your list. How do you do this? And then you can put something on your email saying, if you want more info, ask to join the Facebook group. So it's a great way of building you, in my opinion, building up your social equity. Is that the right word?
Yeah. There's another way we could it. It's not your net worth, it's your net worth.
Yeah. Dan Meredith is a big fan of that saying. I don't know if you know Dan. Dan, if you're listening, I'm going to be hassling you to get you on one of these episodes. Tega, I know you're editing this, so ask him. So Dan is a huge fan. He was one of the first people to teach me that. Really, he always said that your network is your net worth, and I think that's great. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we decided to do a podcast. It was to reach out to people like you, and obviously we've had Pat Rigsby on the last one. We've got Paul Mort on the next one, and it's just to reach out to these people and widen your network. Also widen their networks as well. Yeah. And these guys are all doing email marketing. I was chatting to Pat last week, and I was telling him I was on his email list since 2011, and he still to this day is doing a daily email.
Yeah.
And the reason why he's doing it, because it works.
Yeah. Email marketing is not dead.
Yeah.
It's still king, and the money is still in the list.
I go to events and meet other people in the fitness industry. I have people come up to me who know who I am, who I haven't got a clue who they are. And they're like, oh, Liam, how you doing? I'm on your list. I get your emails every day. What about this? How is Mrs. Liam? Because my wife was actually called Rachel, but I call her Mrs. Liam in my emails. And that's one of my common themes. I have little words that I use that other people don't use. I always sign my emails off the same way. I always say laters as a sign off. And people, when they read your emails, they get used to that stuff and they get to know you personally. And it's just, for me, it is a great way of building know, like, and trust, which is vital if you want to sell, especially when it's selling fitness.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing also, if somebody is going to take the time to actually open your email,
yeah,
okay, because, read it, because that takes a commitment. There is a commitment. To me, there's more of a commitment with that than there is with Facebook.
Yeah.
All right. So for somebody to, actually open your email, read it, go take action on your call to action, I think, to me, that is more of that person is more of your buyer, more of your prospect than somebody who's scrolling through Facebook and happens to see your ad and it's like, oh, okay, and don't get me wrong, I mean, it works, but there's so much distraction and noise on Facebook. The commitment is not quite there as it is with email. So that's why that's important. Never forget that. Yeah,
I think that email for me, and we always use that. I love using dating as an analogy for marketing, because marketing for me is all about building relationships. And there are certain stages that you go through in a real world relationship that you have to go through when it comes to marketing. And the way I try and explain this to my coaching clients and to some of my personal training clients is, if you imagine that you're in a busy club and you meet a pretty girl and you're trying to chat to her and there's loads of noise and there's other people and there's her friends, and you go outside where it's quieter and you can have a quiet chat, or you go and find a quiet booth, that's email. The club is Facebook. The quiet area is email, because you can have a one-to-one conversation. And that's really, for me, what it's about. It's about having a conversation, not necessarily trying just to sell to someone, but trying to sell you as opposed to selling your products.
Yeah.
How does that fit into what you do?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's again, I kind of work in that quiet zone where in that email, I have your undivided attention. Because once you open up that email, it's you're going to decide within a split second whether or not you're going to read that email or not. And if you do, and that's my job to make sure that well, first of all, it's my job to make sure that I give a really good email subject line so that when a person sees this in their inbox, they're like, oh, what's this? Let me open this and see what this is all about. And then when they start reading, it's my job to make sure that I'm giving you something that's going to pull you in, and depending on how your list responds, how your list has been trained, depends on what type of, how that content will be laid out. Some people do really well with short and punchy emails. Okay. Some people do better with a story type of email. They get pulled in. And some people just get pulled in with just straight up content. So it just depends on your list, who you are, how your list responds to you, and like I said, I have that quiet zone. It's there that I have that undivided attention. Whereas you've got the girl outside. You're talking one on one.
Do you try and sell off every email, or do you mix it up?
It depends on the person I'm working with. Where most people, believe it or not, I think just about every single email that goes out there, they're trying to sell. Or if they do sell, it could be a soft sell where I'm giving you content. Like with Yuri, here's Yuri. His email takes you over to his blog post. Now on that blog post, he's going to give you great content, but at the very end, there's a call to action at the end of the blog. And that's why we're trying to get people over there. So it's not like we're selling them in the email, but at the end of the blog, the call to action is there. He wants you to get on his webinar. That's the beginning of his funnel. Okay. So that's how he's working it. Some people, it's just, it's curiosity based. Okay. Where, I'm going to put this curiosity based thing in there, get you to click on the link and you're going to go to a sales page type of thing. So it just depends. But basically the point is in everybody's email, there is a call to action in some way or another. Either it's going to hit you over the head like a brick, or it's going to be in a much softer way.
Yeah, something I was taught to do very early when I started doing, I guess you call them daily emails, was to, even if you had nothing to sell, or even if you were just giving value, to always put links in there with a call to action to train your readers to click on them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing also is I probably should do this. I have not written in my blog for like a long time. What I probably should do, and being that it's been a long time since I've done that, what I probably should do is, as a good way of keeping the flow going and keeping my list engaged, because I admit I'm guilty of somebody. It's like, don't do as I do, do as I say. Okay, I'm one of those. Where I probably should be reusing my blogs that they're evergreen. They're evergreen, and just as a way of engaging that list is kind of giving them a little bit of the content in an email and then sending them over to my blog as a way of getting them.
We used to take our emails from internetfitpro.com and put them onto our blog. And we found that really didn't help us in terms of Google. We thought we'd get more traffic just because we were putting out content, but it wasn't necessarily content that people were searching for.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Bad to the bone, huh?
Get rid of that. Yeah, so for the guys who are listening, that's my wife calling me. She probably wants to know where I am. But yeah, she's picking her little son up from nursery, so she's probably calling on the way back just to say hi. He'll be in the back of the car going, hi. He's only 15 months old.
Oh.
And it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, you just said something there, and just like we're on to episode 5 now of this, and there seems to be some recurring themes that keep coming up. One is people that I've spoke to have all started to build their businesses that they personally do around their families and around what they want, and more like lifestyle businesses as opposed to the average 9 to 5. The second thing that's come up is everybody has an element of coaching in their business. And one of the things that keeps happening is it's like they'll advise people on stuff, but they might not necessarily take their own advice. And I think that's and if you were listening last week, me and Pat Rigsby were talking about this. It's like coaches are terrible for taking their own advice.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, think of it this way. Here's a good thing if you haven't heard this. Tiger Woods. Now go back to Tiger Woods in his heyday. Okay.
Are we talking about clean Tiger Woods here?
Clean Tiger Woods in his heyday. Okay. Yeah. All right. When Tiger was like on the top of his game.
Yeah.
So Tiger was like the world's greatest golfer. Okay. Yeah. But he had a coach. And even though he had a coach that helped him be the world's greatest golfer, his coach necessarily wasn't the world's greatest golfer. But he was able to
Butch Harmon.
Yeah. But he was able to make Tiger the world's greatest golfer. So there you go. There's the analogy.
And Butch Harmon now coaches Ricky Fowler. And he's quite old now. I think he must be mid 70s.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, when so I don't play golf, but I tend to watch the majors. Mm-hmm. And anytime there's a majors on, Butch Harmon is the commentator on UK television, and he always gets introduced as Ricky Fowler's coach, Tiger Woods' ex-coach. I went to the Open last year, the one in the UK with Jordan Spieth. I always go on the Sunday with my father-in-law. And he went zooming past us in his little golf buggy, and everybody was like, "Hi, Butch, how you doing?" And he was like moving back, so he seems like a cool guy. Yeah. So anyway, we digress a little bit there, but So email marketing. What do you find in terms of like how many people would buy from a list? This is something that I'm always interested in. What's the average percentage of purchase that you make from an email list?
It depends on. It depends on the person and how big the list is. I mean, that really is what it comes. And again, it's have you built that authority and that trust with your audience, with your tribe? Yeah. Okay. And there are people out there that have really, really put themselves out there, where their followers, their tribe is so like hangs on every single word. They're influencers.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's really where it starts with. So, you have Jeff Cavalier. So he's on YouTube. He's got his YouTube channel, and he's got a very loyal following, and his brand and his product is very simple, very straightforward. And I've not on his list. I've not seen his emails, but I'm sure that the people who follow him and that watch him regularly on YouTube are going to be very, very interested in what he has to say or sell. Okay? Yeah. Because he's built his tribe. Same thing with Elliott. Elliott Hulse had built his tribe.
Yeah.
Okay? This is something that Ryan Lee talks about in Freedom. This is something about building your tribe. Vince is the skinny guy savior, but he's also making a transition. I also have found that as these guys, they start to age, as they get older, you change. Things that were important to you when you were in your 20s or 30, let's say you start approaching 40 and your life has changed. It's different. Your philosophy, what matters to you, has evolved. And the thing is, your audience is aging with you as well. So I would imagine there are things that, what you're experiencing and what you're going through, there are things that's happening with your audience. So it's always, connecting with your tribe, putting yourself out there. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, however that is. Once you have built that tribe and you have become their influencer, that's when the email marketing really kicks in and makes a difference. Okay. I know starting out, it can be very, very frustrating. Okay. Because you're new, you're just starting out, and you haven't really built that yet. But what I can say is just stay the course, just be consistent. Okay. Because at the end of the day, that will pay off.
Yeah.
I know it can be frustrating.
When I had my bootcamp business, my target market was ladies in their 30s who wanted to drop maybe 2 dress sizes. So it was a weight loss market. And what we found is that when they joined our list initially, so our lead magnet, which is what we used to get them on our list, was a guide on how to stop emotional eating.
Uh-huh.
So straight away we know that they want to lose weight if they're looking for content like that. So they were a perfect fit. But what we found was that sometimes we would have people on our list for, 2.5 years before they even had the courage to put the hand up and come in for a free trial. And it's not something that you can do a couple of times and then give up and then decide to do it weekly or monthly. It's something that you have to keep doing.
Yeah.
Show up every day, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the strange thing is when I was doing personal training.
Yeah.
I would go places, I'd be giving out my cards all the time. And I got to tell you, there were people that would hold on to my card for 2 or 3 years and then contact me. They never threw the card out. They held on to it. And 2 or 3 years later, I heard from them. Hey, I met you. I've had your card. I've held it. And it's like, I've kind of reached that point. So at some point, everybody has their breaking point. It may happen in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or a year or two later.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it's just stay the course. Just stay the course. Be patient, stay the course, and just keep going and keep building your tribe, keep building your influence.
I guess that if you are essentially a coach, especially in the fitness industry, people may not always be ready to change. And no matter how good you are as a coach, you can't get someone to change unless they've taken that decision to reach out and ask for help. No matter how much content and how much info you put out there, ultimately the decision has to be on them. And when they make the decision, if you're the person who's been in their inbox every day for the last 2 years, who they see on social media, who they see on Instagram, who they see on Facebook and wherever else, then that makes your business the obvious choice to help them when they decide the time is right.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Again, because there's so much competition and there's so much noise out there.
Yeah.
One of the things that you really need to focus on, wherever it is that you're communicating, whether it's Facebook post, Facebook Live, email, Instagram, is talk to their pain point. Empathize with them.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think a lot of people lose, pardon my French, people get so caught up in buy my shit, okay? Because if you don't buy my shit, your life is going to suck even worse, okay? People get so caught up in that they forget to talk about their pain points and yet be empathetic. I remember, this is like, classic Frank Kern was, I'm one of you. It was, Frank Kern used to use the us versus them thing. I'm one of you. I'll tell you, regardless of over here, where your ideology lies, I will tell you, one of the things that Donald Trump has been using with his base is that us versus them.
Yeah.
This is what you're afraid of. This is your fear, and, I get it, it's us versus them, I'm on your side. That's the type of, if you really pay attention to what he's doing, like I said, whatever your ideology is, at the end of the day, that man was always into PR, marketing, sales.
Yeah. I've read quite a bit of Dan Kennedy stuff, and he talks an awful lot about Donald Trump. And I'm assuming that they maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, probably were in the same circles. And and if they were, then he's obviously studied persuasion, copywriting, PR, all of that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the things that I had started doing probably about a year or so ago was I never did before, and I decided, I actually started subscribing to political lists. Whether or not I liked the person, didn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. So I started, going to various politicians' lists, people who were in my state, not in my state, it didn't matter. Okay. And I started subscribing to get on their list because one of the things I sort of figured out in that and here, and this is a hack. Here's a hack. So wherever you live, you may want to get on some political lists, regardless whether or not you agree with the person. It has nothing to do with it. Politicians are all about persuasion and getting you to stick your hand in your pocket and give them a donation.
Yeah.
Just look at it in those terms and nothing else. All right. I have found some great bullets, email subject lines, words of persuasion that I have been able to pull out of some of those emails because that's what they're doing. They're marketing to you in an email, Yeah. It's just so that's been really kind of helpful. Okay. And so it's like, even though I primarily am in the health and fitness niche, again, it's all about persuasion and hitting pain points. And that has something that has absolutely nothing to do with that niche. But if you want to really learn and really expand your mind on things and see different ways of selling and persuasion, that's one of the things that I do. Of course, the magazines are another way as well. So that's another tool that I use to find things.
Yeah, one of the things that we tell some of our clients to do is to go, let's say, for example, that your market is females who want to lose weight. Go into Google Images and type in Weight Watchers magazine covers, and you get all the past covers from Weight Watchers magazines. And you've got a list of headlines right there that you can use every single day of the week.
And the great thing is, okay, so those headlines, you can also use them, because it happens. It's like, I'm guilty of this. I got to the point where it's like, okay, how many different ways can I write about the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. But you look at magazine covers like that, and they're very repetitive about all these things.
Yeah.
And you can get ideas for a blog post article if you're blogging, or again, if you just want to take content and use it for an email. So that's just another insightful way of going through. For me, it's like I used to be an avid subscriber to Muscle and Fitness magazine. I haven't subscribed to it in years, but for all those years that I did have the magazine, I've got a collection of old issues of Muscle and Fitness, and I still have them. And I will tell you that a lot of the headlines that are on the cover, or as you go through the articles, there is gold in there. Because you've got to remember, they're there to sell magazines. They're there to capture your attention. It's like, I'm like, why recreate the wheel? It's already been done for you. It's just, it's just, I'm all about making things as simple as possible.
And the thing is, these magazines have got a few seconds to grab your attention on a shelf with other magazines selling exactly the same thing. So these guys have probably tested these headlines.
Absolutely.
Is it? Let's call it let's create a lead magnet of the ultimate swipe files of email marketing headlines.
Oh, I've got one. Well, yeah. I think. Oh, you saw it. You saw what I created.
Yeah.
That swipe file of mine.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea. I was at Traffic and Conversion Summit a couple of years ago, and I think it was Perry Belcher. I don't know if you know Perry. Yeah. Perry's a really good copywriter. And one of the books that he recommended was, I think it was called The Political Brain. And it was written by the guy who helped Bill Clinton win the election. And it was all on persuasion around politics. So maybe want to check out. I've actually got it sitting at home, but haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah, that would be an interesting read, I bet. Yeah, like I said, it's just, regardless of what country you live in or what your ideology is, I mean, oh my God, you can learn so much from really studying and analyzing the marketing behind politics.
I don't want to get into my political persuasions, but I absolutely love the political structure in the states where you are. I love watching the primaries and then the actual election itself. And if you look back to when Barack Obama won the election, that was because he had the best email list.
Yeah,
he was better at email marketing than I forget who did he stand against? Was it George Bush?
Well, no. I mean, at first, Barack Obama went against McCain and then Mitt Romney.
John McCain and then Mitt Romney, yeah. And then if you look at one of the reasons why Donald Trump is won the last election, a lot of it comes down to Facebook ads and how he's targeted and how he spent his budget. And also because he's better at persuasion and creating this enemy for Republican voters.
Yeah. Well, the other thing also is this man knows how to control the news cycle.
Yeah.
Okay. So even during the primaries, I was like, what is this? Trump TV is like 24/7, nothing but, no matter what channel you went to. It's like Trump TV 24/7.
Yeah.
Now, I will say the one person who is overlooked in all of this as far as marketing, who could not, the media would never give him the time of day, but through him building this is a man who built his tribe, okay, and really used social media to really get himself out there, because the media just wasn't having at it, and also there were forces against him. Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
You go and you follow Bernie on social media, on his Instagram and on his Facebook, and I mean, he has got an amazing social media team that has really helped to build his tribe and build his presence and get his message out. And one of the other things that he started was the Bernie Sanders show. So he was doing like a his own streaming thing, because again, the media wouldn't do it, so he created his own thing and put it out there using social media. So you really want to study and understand some social media marketing savvy. Yeah, Bernie Sanders. Yeah, regardless of how you feel about him, I have to say his marketing is absolutely genius.
Yeah, I'll definitely go and have a check. I will definitely check that out. So, question for you.
Go ahead.
Where can we find you?
Well, you found me.
No. So if I'm listening, I'm presenting right now. So if I'm listening and I'm thinking, yeah, I'd love to work with Shari, how can I find her online? Where would I go to? Okay,
I don't have a website for what I do. Okay, it's just, I know that sounds weird, but I don't have a web. Maybe I should talk to you, about that. But anyway, people reach out to me on Facebook. Believe it or not, this is where everything happens for me, is on Facebook. So you can go on Facebook, look up my Facebook page is still under my old name. It's facebook.com/Shari Fitness. When you get there, you'll see it'll say Shari Fitness Friedman on there. So that's me. So you can easily find me on Facebook. Reach out there to me. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me and send me a direct message through there. My Instagram is a little all over the place. It's interesting. It's a little bit of health. It's a little bit of cats. It's a little bit of rock and roll. I've kind of decided to make it, my fun thing. So it's at Shari Fitness, and Shari Fitness is one word. So you can find me on Instagram. And you could also find me on my Facebook page, which would be the Shari Fitness fan page, which was, a business page where I was promoting myself as a fitness person. I still kind of do and should, but just Google Shari Friedman or Shari Fitness. I promise you, I will pop up.
Do you know what we'll do, Shari? We will put all of your contact details on the show notes page for this episode. And
okay.
Really easy for anyone who wants to contact you. And the show notes will be on fitnessbusinessauthority.com. You can find them there. And by the way, anyone who's on Instagram who wants to follow me, I am Liam G. Thompson on Instagram. Equally, you can find me on Facebook because I'm there all the time. But Shari, this has been a pleasure. I have had a good laugh doing this. And I don't ever say that to the guests. So, so thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure. This has been episode 5. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.